Alright, so this video is about the New Testament was written in Greek. Now, the reason why it's titled that way is because I want to talk about how important it is to know the original language that something was written in. Religious literature or whatever it is that is being discussed in terms of the origins of something. How did something come to be, a story or whatever, in terms of literature. Now, let's talk about the New Testament, since that's what this video is titled. If you compare like the New Testament to say like the story of Dionysus, because Jesus and Dionysus are both put on trial. How about Jesus being and Orion? They both walk on water. Yet both the texts that mentions Orion doing these things, Dionysus experiencing all these things, can be compared to Jesus even more so, because both of the stories are written in Greek. That's just a couple of examples that I'll be showing out in my video I'll be doing later about which gods actually resemble Jesus. Because I talked about in my other videos a two-part series about Horus and why he doesn't resemble Jesus, and also talk about other conspiracy theories. But I'm not going to get into that in this video. If you want to see me talk about it, go watch those other two videos. I did a whole thing down there. With that being said, the New Testament was written in Greek. So were the texts that mention Orion and Dionysus. Now, what I can't understand is, how do conspiracy theorists not notice these similarities, these actual similarities between Orion and Jesus? Because if you look it up, Orion is the son of Poseidon in the story. This is how it goes. Orion was a great giant hunter. He even attracted got the attraction of the virgin goddess Artemis, which the Romans called her Diana. And Orion's a great hunter and all that, and he was given the power to walk on water by his father, Poseidon. However, there is an alternate birth story where he isn't the son of Poseidon. Instead, he's the son of Zeus, Hermes, and Poseidon via urine. Like literally, you can look this up. I'm not making this up. These three gods actually took a piss on like some kind of hole, swamp, something like that, and then Orion rose out of the urine. And Orion, in result, he was also called Urian instead of Orion. Anyway, obviously his birth story wasn't the same way as Jesus, and I'm not saying that Jesus and Orion are the same. No, it just shows that some piece of Jesus was based on Orion, and not necessarily on Horus, because there are people out there that claim Horus walked on water, because they pretty much are claiming that Jesus was verbatim based on Horus. But when you look it up, Horus was the avenger of Osiris, as I talked about in my Horus series. Not someone that gets crucified and gets visited by three wise men and the whole 9 yards. And that's really the point I'm trying to make, is because when you know how something's written in, when you know the language that something's written in, then you know that if there are other stories that resemble it written in the same language, then you can deduce the facts in the scenario. You can figure out, oh, I see what's going on here. They took this story from these other stories I'm seeing here. That's the point I'm trying to make. And in the long run, that's really how research should go down, in my opinion, among other things. But I'm actually still worried about the whole Horus thing, because there's also a bunch of other false claims being made alongside Horus that I will examine in the next video. And the issue is, like I discussed in the Horus series, if people keep telling Christians false information about plagiarism or whatever, they're going to go research what you're talking about. Okay, they might even drop their faith just for a little bit if they do for whatever reason, and then they research what you're saying. Either way, that person is most likely going to research what you're saying. They're going to find out you're wrong. When what's going to happen? That Christian's going to go back to being a Christian, and then you will never convince that person that the New Testament is plagiarized because you gave them false. You gave them false information. Because they're going to find out Horus doesn't actually resemble Jesus in the way you told them that he does. Then what's going to happen next? Good luck getting that Christian out of Christianity. We need to really think about this and how and what information that people tell the Christians and how they research things, because they're not doing it right, and that's a very serious problem that I am trying to make as many people as I can aware of it.